Hey, what's going on everybody? It's etaprime back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at a really awesome 13-inch Android tablet that I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while. And one of the big reasons I never picked it up until now was the price point. But recently this was on sale over at Best Buy for $379, and whenever I come across a deal like this, I usually post it up in my community tab. And at that price point, with the screen size and the specs this thing is rocking, this is one of the best Android tablet deals that I've run across in a while. And this is known as the Lenovo Yoga Tab 13. So what we have here is a 13-inch Android 12 tablet powered by a Snapdragon 870. So we've got plenty of power over on the Android side of things, but this also doubles as a portable monitor because it does have micro HDMI in. So you can plug in a console, you can plug in your laptop to have a second screen, or even a Raspberry Pi. Now inside of the box, you're obviously going to receive the tablet itself. We've got a USB Type-C cable, 30-watt charger, and they also include a micro HDMI cable. And this will work as a portable monitor for any device that supports HDMI out. When it comes to the screen, we've got a 13-inch display with a resolution of 1350 by 2160. And one thing that kind of threw me off at first was this built-in kickstand. Kind of folds over. And when I initially started messing around with this, I thought it would get in the way, but it does fold up really nice and neat towards the back of the unit. Works as a kickstand and kind of a carrying handle. So you will have to get used to something like this. Most tablets don't have this built in. You'd have to buy like a separate case for something like this. But I'm kind of glad that they have it here because it does make for a really easy setup, and it's an awesome multimedia tablet. Not to mention, this is also a portable monitor. We've got this sound bar down here. Now we've got two speakers here, and up top we've got two more. These are tuned by JBL, and this thing sounds absolutely amazing. And with those front-facing speakers, it fires the sound right at you. It does support Dolby Atmos, and it actually has some bass with this sound bar down here. When it comes to the ports and buttons, over here on the right-hand side, we have our volume rocker, our power button, and USB Type-C. This is actually USB Type-C 3.1, and it does support video out. Over on the left-hand side, we have our micro HDMI port, and this is only HDMI in. I was a little thrown off by this also because I thought that we could get video out, but you do have to use that USB Type-C port if you want to go to a larger display. And when it comes to the specs, it's not a slouch at all. We've got that Snapdragon 870. Remember, we've got that big core that'll go up to 3.2 gigahertz. This is actually one of my favorite little mobile chips. Of course, there are more powerful Snapdragon chips out there like the 888. And now the Gen 1, but the 870 will definitely get you by. This one here has 8 gigabytes of LPDDR4X RAM. You can get this with 128 gigabytes of internal storage or 256, but both of them use UFS 3.0 storage. A 13-inch 2160 by 1350 LTPS display, and it is 100% sRGB with Dolby Vision. We got a quad speaker setup tuned by JBL. Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, a 10,000 mAh battery, and they're claiming up to 12 hours of video playback on this unit, and it's running Android 12 with the new update. So overall performance is great, and I really expected it to be with that Snapdragon 870 and 8 gigs of RAM. It would be nice to have a little more RAM, but most of the stuff that you're doing on your tablet, you're not going to max out that RAM at all. When it comes to Widevine support, this is level 1, so we can get HD content from our favorite apps, be it HBO, Netflix, Hulu. All of those are going to work in HD. And video playback is going to work out just fine, even if you want to do 4K. Now, I completely understand that we only have around a 2K display here, but I'm going to set this up at 4K 60 FPS. Stats for Nerds is on screen. It'll play through 4K video, no problem at all. So it's a little hard to show off how good the sound is on this thing in a YouTube video, but with those front-firing speakers, you get a lot of bass coming at you. Now recently on the channel, we did a review on the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8 Ultra, which is around a $1,000 tablet. The speakers on that, in my opinion, do sound better than this one here, but it's really close. And remember, that's a $1,000 tablet. This 13-inch HDR display looks really good. Now this is an HDR video, we're running it at 4K 60. And the Snapdragon 870 can handle 4K video playback no problem at all. So when it comes to like a multimedia tablet for watching videos, listening to music, this is a really good choice. Now it's time to take a look at some benchmarks, and I faced this off against the new Tab S8 Ultra because that's the one everybody's going to be wanting to compare everything to. With Geekbench 5 on the Yoga 13, single core 953, multi 3099. Not bad at all, but as you can see, the Tab S8 Ultra did beat it out, and I expected it would because it has that newer Snapdragon Gen 1 CPU. Moving over to a GPU benchmark, we have 3D Mark Wildlife. This is a Vulkan benchmark, and on the Yoga 13, we got a 4,255, and the Tab S8 Ultra 9,515. And finally, we have the Antutu benchmark. 698,947 on the Yoga 13, 947,997 on the S8 Ultra. And if we take a look down the list, the only way we beat that Ultra out was in the UX performance with the Snapdragon 870. Now it's time to move over to some native Android gaming. Here we have Asphalt 9. By the way, I'm using an Xbox controller connected over Bluetooth. No issues at all with this game, and I have the graphics set to quality. There's a few different presets with this one, but I figured it would definitely run well, maxed out on the 870. Dead Cells is another one I always like to test. I think they've done an amazing job porting this over from PC. With this one here, no issues. We're running at full speed. This is definitely a really playable game on the Yoga 13. Next on the list, Call of Duty Mobile. We're at high settings with the extreme frame rate set. I've downloaded the HD texture pack, and I'm using an Xbox controller because this does natively support controllers. This is just one of those games that does work really well on a lot of different devices, and you can always use the built-in touch controls if you want to, but since it, supports a controller, I would rather use that. But this is another one that's fully playable on the Yoga 13. And finally, of course, we definitely had to test Genshin Impact. Medium settings, 60 FPS. I don't have a frame counter built in with this setup here, but it definitely looks like it's running at full speed. I did notice a few dips here and there, but I believe those are kind of shaders just loading. And if you did want to run this at high, you will have to set it to 30 FPS. It's just not going to handle 60 FPS high, but you could do a little bit of a mix if you want to. Or just set it to medium, 60 FPS, and you're going to get performance like you're seeing here. In my opinion, this game runs great on the Snapdragon 870, as long as you have it set up correctly. Now it's time to move over to some emulation. We're going to start off light here with Dreamcast, and when it comes to the Redream emulator, this is the one I always use. From the Snapdragon, I'd say 835 on up, you're going to be able to run basically anything, and we're at 1440p here. Next on the list, PSP, using the standalone version of PPSSPP. We've got Midnight Club Dub Edition, which is a harder one to emulate. Vulkan back-in, 4x resolution. The Snapdragon 870 does an amazing job with PSP emulation, as you can see here. When it comes to Gamecube emulation on this tablet, using the Dolphin emulator, you'll still run into some games that do struggle. Now there are other versions of the Dolphin emulator out there, like Dolphin MMJR, which will help out, but with the latest updates for Android on the official version of the Dolphin emulator, I'd say it works out really well with OpenGL. And finally, PS2 using Aether SX2. OpenGL backend, we're at 2x resolution. There's a ton of games that are going to be playable on this, and even some of them can go up to 4x with the Snapdragon 870. But again, you're still going to run into some that struggle. It really comes down to this emulator still being pretty young. And now I want to show you this working as a portable monitor. When it comes down to it, one of my favorite little consoles is the Series S. The portability on it is great. Whenever we go on a trip, I just throw it in a book bag for my son. And having a monitor like this would definitely help out. So we just plug it right in, turn it on. The tablet's going to automatically detect that we have HDMI going into the side here. We can actually change the aspect ratio from 16:10 to 16:9, and we can control the volume from the side buttons here. So we've got that quad speaker set up, running at 1080p, 60, 16:9, or 16:10. It's really up to you. But playing a game on this actually looks really good. And again, it doesn't have to be just a console. I mean, you could plug in a PC, you could throw a laptop on this. As long as it has HDMI out, it will detect it and run it at 1080p, 60 FPS. We've got that large 10,000 milliamp hour battery. And when it's set up like this, I actually got 7 hours of playback out of the built-in battery. And if you're running it from an Xbox like this, you could always plug in USB directly to the tablet and keep that battery charged up. But yeah, this is definitely going to come in really handy, especially on trips. You could always use this as a second screen for your laptop or your PC also. So So overall, I'm a big fan of the Lenovo Yoga 13. I love the fact that we have that HDMI input. That way we can use it as a portable monitor. We've got plenty of power with that Snapdragon 870, 8 gigs of RAM. I do wish we had more storage on this unit. You can opt for 256, but that's about it. Now at the price point, I was able to pick this up from Best Buy when it was on sale. It's totally worth it. This is a great tablet at that $360, $370 price tag. But normal cost on this is around $650, and that's way overpriced. But if you do get a chance to pick one of these up when it's on sale, I'd say jump all over it. It's a great tablet at that price point, but normal retail pricing on this is just way over. A lot of these Android tablets with the higher end chipsets are. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. I really appreciate you watching. If you're interested in checking out more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on so you know when I post the next one. If you have any questions about this tablet here, or you want to see anything else running on it, let me know in the comments below. But like always, thanks for watching.